one of our greatest industry. The Grammy Museum will bring individuals who want to spend money. So we will give them an opportunity to have 2 or 3 days worth of entertainment and getting to know the heritage and culture. So it's going to be an economic boost for the Mississippi Delta and throughout the state of Mississippi.
They're gonna get back home.
I think it's a really important thing for Mississippi. And it shows what Mississippi has given the world.
Now, forever, people can actually make this a destination and come from all over the world and learn about the roots of rock and roll and modern music.
Hey, this home was snatches. Mississippi did it like Miles and Dizzy. Now we getting busy, bridging the gap from the blues to jazz to rap. The history of music on this track.
This museum will be located in Cleveland, Mississippi. We chose Cleveland, Mississippi because there's a great cultural institution there, an education institution, the Delta Music Institute, Delta State University. We are very, very excited in establishing a long-term educational partnership with that institution and together creating a mutually beneficial museum.
DMI, with its curriculum, it's a training ground for the industry and that technology. We'll be able to create a program where students from Delta State and students from some of the Southern California universities will be able to exchange over the summer, come and work here, do some research, do some history work at the museum.
This is just going to be good for the past, the present, and the future as we look at the young people who are getting involved and participating.
As we develop exhibits in LA, this is a chance to put it on a pipeline, come straight to Mississippi, so the east side of the United States will have a chance to see them as well.
Music and the arts make better citizens. They grow children into better adults. And since music and the arts on a state level here in Mississippi is one of our most important exports, Grammy Museum Mississippi is a great way to continue to develop those great citizens.
Y'all are still a Mississippi girl.
So the museum opens in November. Our grand opening is November 14th through the 15th. It's a 27,000 square foot facility. Right there by the Alumni House on the campus of Delta State University. We are really excited to be a partner. Delta State is a great partner for us. Obviously, Mississippi was chosen. We have nearly 8% of all Lifetime Achievement Award winners are from Mississippi. That's more Grammy-winning artists than the next 5 states combined. So Mississippi was a great choice, and obviously, as you heard there, DMI is a great partner for us, and certainly the reason why we believe that it was located here in Cleveland. We have a great students. In fact, I was talking to Tricia, the executive director of DMI, the other day, and admissions is up 139% in the DMI program. People are excited about this program. They're excited about Delta State, and they're excited, obviously, about this museum in Cleveland. So we're really excited about having the museum open that weekend. That's another date to put on your calendar for sure. During the week, starting November 9th, we will have some tours, VIP tours and some tours. Delta State alumni is included in that. You'll receive an invitation through the Alumni House and offer an opportunity for you to come see the museum before anybody else does. So we hope that all of you will take advantage of coming back to Cleveland that week and certainly during the grand opening weekend. 80% of what we'll be doing in the museum every single day is education. We're going to try to target about 20 to 25,000 school kids a year in our museum. And that's really what we'll be doing every single day, is educating kids on opportunities on music and arts education. We'll have lesson plans to support the arts and the music. We'll also have lesson plans for science teachers and social studies teachers and math teachers as well. So it's really going to be able to help support the curriculum that they have in their schools, both public and private. We have hired our first employee besides myself. Jane Marie Dawkins is from Greenville, Mississippi. She comes to us from New Orleans, even though she's from Greenville, but she's our education manager. So she's working with the educators here already in Desoto County as well as throughout Mississippi to make sure that, that they know what we're doing in the museum. We are just fixing to host our 3rd education education program, even though the museum has not opened. We had our first one with Roseanne Cash, Grammy winner. She won 5 Grammys on this last CD, on this last album that she had about the Delta and the music there. We had the band Perry was there in our museum in June. They're actually our first Grammy-winning musicians that were toured the museum. And then on August 24th, we'll have the Band of Legends. Elvis's band is going to be in the VPAC. We're co-partnering with the VPAC on an education program. We'll have an education program that morning for kids, and then that night it will be a public program for the community. So we're excited about that, and that's just the beginning. We'll be able to bring these kind of artists. You can see all the artists that are already excited about the museum, and we'll be able to bring those to our community and to let kids have an experience with them, a talk with them, and answer questions, and they'll be able to ask questions to the musicians. So we're really excited about that also. I think about 80% of the museum is going to celebrate the entire Recording Academy. 10% will celebrate Mississippi, and then the other 10% will be a rotating temporary exhibit. So we're going to open the museum in November with Stevie Ray Vaughan. His collection is his brother's, mainly Jimmy. It's his content. We also have some content from Double Trouble. Jimmy will be there to open the Grammy Museum that weekend. Saturday, we will have a gala at the BPAC Saturday night. The museum, the ribbon cutting will be that morning around 10, and then the museum will be open. That night we'll have a gala in the BPAC. We have 3 great headliners almost lined up, so we hope to be able to announce that within the next week. Sunday will be a community blues bash in our outdoor amphitheater in front of the museum, and Jimmy Vaughan will perform. Double Trouble, Stevie Ray, his band will be there. Shannon McNally will be there. Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Kevmo, North Mississippi All-Stars, Muddy Magnolias. So we really have a great lineup for the Blues Bash on Sunday. And then Monday, we hope some of these artists will stick around and do some education programs for us with our DMI students, as well as with the students in our area and surrounding area. So that is a lot about the museum. I know you'll have a lengthy program, but I do hope that you're interested. I do hope that you'll plan on marking your calendars for November 14th. Again, you'll get an invitation for a tour before the museum opens, so I hope you'll take advantage of that as well. I have some business cards. I'll be happy to, if you're interested, to pick one up if I can answer any questions for you. I will tell you it was about a $20 million project. We're a little over $18.5 million raised for the project, so we're really almost fully funded. And we're obviously that will be a huge part of the museum, and be able to already have that museum paid for when we open it. So we're hoping to be able to do that so we can concentrate on education, because that's truly the heart and the soul of this museum is going to be education. And we also hope to welcome 65,000 visitors to Cleveland a year. So anyway, that's our goal. The information, there's an email address if you want to email me your information so we can put you on our mailing list. It's info@GrammyMuseumMS.org, and we'll be happy to, we have a list of about 6,000 people at this point, so we'll send out a newsletter once we get going in about a month with all the updates on what's going on at the museum and how you can be a part of it. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you will come see us in November. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. And I had the opportunity to have a tour of the museum a few days ago. And when I say wow factor, it is amazing what's going on with the facility on our campus. And I want to give Emily another round of applause for taking time out of her schedule to come over here and drive to visit with you all, in return for you guys to drive back to visit her and campus this fall when you come back to Pig Picking and Homecoming. So Emily, thank you for this. One thing I may have failed to do earlier tonight, but I feel like it's appropriate to do. As I look around the room, I've had so many conversations with a few parents here throughout the years that have sent their children to Delta State, and I've visited with you through scholarships that you've received through the Alumni House, whether it's the Hugh Ellis Walker Alumni Scholarship, the Desoto County Scholarship. But I just want to give a round of applause to the parents that have children at Delta State right now. Where are our parents there? Raise your hands high. We really appreciate you. We want to take care of you, and I know you're visiting campus quite often to come back and visit with your students. So be sure when you come back to drop by your home away from home when you go visit your student on campus and see us at the Alumni House. At this time, we're very fortunate. This will be his third time to be at your alumni meeting since he's been our leader at Delta State University. He does not miss your chapter. It's on his calendar every year, but he does not miss any of our alumni chapter meetings because he wants to be with you. He wants to talk with you. He wants to get to know you. We're very fortunate to have such a great leader, that leader of Delta State University. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you our 8th president of Delta State University, William Ford.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and I don't think I'm going to have any trouble projecting. My mother always said I was too loud. I think I said that last year, too. We really got to get a PA system for this. First, I want to tell you that you are my tweet for the night. If you haven't followed me, you're not following me, you should, because I'm telling you something all the time whenever we have an event on campus. You can follow me at President DSU on Twitter, so you'll see yourself in the picture, maybe. First thing I want to tell you about tonight, it's always fun to be able to report to alumni, to friends, and to parents of our students a lot of good things. And that's the bottom line message tonight, a lot of positive things going on at Delta State. I have for you to begin with a list of firsts. You know, Mississippi's given a lot of hard time around the country for being 50th and 49th on a lot of things, but I'll tell you what, Delta State has some firsts for you this year. And they're really important ones. First, I want to tell you that we had our first uptick in enrollment in 8 years last year. Secondly, this summer, because of our financial situation's improvement and some extra dollars from the legislature, we gave our first raise to all faculty and staff in 4 years. That happened. And a couple of the rather unique firsts. There's a program called First in the World. And we bid for one of those grants from the U.S. Department of Education, and we got it, $1.6 million, and it's supporting student success and retention efforts for academics at Delta State. We're the only university in Mississippi got it, one of 24 nationally. We're very proud of that. And it even gets better. This past December, we passed our national accreditation rating with flying colors, with very little commentary about it. It's called SACS, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. Every 10 years you have to go through and be reaccredited. We were reaccredited, so we're at least in business for the next 10 years. How about that? And that even gets better, because not long ago we heard that our nursing program, one of the components of our nursing program that takes registered nurses up to a BS degree, is ranked in the country the #1 program like that anywhere. That's a #1 for Delta State. Some of you may have heard this. You know, we have frozen our tuition for the last 3 years at $6,012 a year. Music to the ears of parents with children at Delta State. That figure is an incredible value. Think about that today. I tell a lot of people, where I taught for 30 years in Washington, D.C., the tuition this fall is $50,300 for 1 year. $50,000. That's 2 full 4-year Delta State educations. Look at the comparison of the value. U.S. News and World Report ranked us #1 in the country for out-of-state tuition value. So we're doing something right here, keeping our value down, and we're getting some out-of-state students for that. So we're real proud of these firsts, and I wanted to keep you apprised of that because there are some very good things that are happening. Enrollment has not only increased last fall, we're stabilized at around 3,500 to 3,600. But this fall we're projecting about a 1 or 1.5% increase. That doesn't sound like a lot to write home about, but just to hold our own in the marketplace for students in Mississippi is an achievement. There are 2 schools the other side of the state, some of you may have some affiliation with them, had great football seasons themselves last year. Because of that, a lot of students are rushing over there. Not a crutch, not an excuse, but it's a fact, and we're losing a lot of students because of that. And the community colleges undercut us because they're half the price. So we have a lot of tough competition out there, but we're looking forward to another successful fall. I will give you one caution, a little heads up. You may see a report that we're down in enrollment. And if you see that, it's because for the first year, we're changing our purge dates when we reconcile our student accounts. And we're doing that this year before we report our numbers to our board in Jackson. So the newspaper will probably pick up a story saying Delta State's down 150, 200, 100. We don't know. So just understand it's a blip on the scale this year. Not an excuse, just an explanation. We do project a net increase one way or the other. Tuition, as I mentioned, has been steady for the last 3 years, but it's a very important part of our budget. It's about half of our budget. The other half coming from state appropriations that are filtered to us through a formula that our state board creates for us. And that money is essential to run the university. We've kept tuition down and because we want to allow affordability and accessibility to attract more students, and that has worked. But the time has come, we're going to have to have a tuition increase. So next fall, we'll probably have a 5% increase for the first time in several years. And that beats the 9% and 8% and 9% increases we had in the first decade of this century, which were really an amazing increase over a short period of time. So we're going to try to keep it minimal, but to keep the business going, we have to do that. When you come to campus this fall, you're going to see things beginning to change structurally. First of all, in just the next few weeks, we're going to tear up all our streets, every one of them. They're going to be remilled, so that'll be a much nicer campus approach. Hopefully you won't pop a tire on our streets anymore, damage an axle or anything else. We're going to be doing that. Over the summer, we have put fire suppression, in a number of buildings that somehow got away without them all these years. And we also went in and redid the bathrooms in Lawler Harkins. And so the girls coming back this fall are all going to see brand new bathrooms with double vanities and mirrors and all that. So we listened to you and we're finally doing that to catch up. And I want to point out somebody who is helping us think about this and who is helping us stabilize our budget. He's in the room somewhere. Steve McClellan, where are you? Steve? He had to leave. He's done a wonderful job in being our CFO, our Chief Financial Officer at Delta State. I've got an incredible team, a great team. And we're doing some very good things because of that. Other things on campus, that great big thing, I talked about it last year, that flying saucer where you ate many meals when you were on campus, we're going to have a huge renovation there, multi-million-dollar deal. At the end of this academic year, we're shutting down the cafeteria, we'll move food service over to the stateroom, and we're going to redo that whole old cafeteria. Big time, very nice. And we've got some great design for it. If you're interested, get in touch with any of us and we'll send you the diagram. It's going to have a multi-purpose room in it, a theater in it, off-hours food service, vending room area. We're going to make the cafeteria smaller. It's going to be a wonderful design for a lot more uses, so we're thinking ahead. We're also going to, in the years ahead, next 2 or 3 years, have to do some repair on Ziegel, badly needs that, the old music building, and on the Coliseum. So structurally, you'll see some things change when you come back to campus. So all I can ask you is to pardon our dust while we try to get things moving along. You know, everybody talks about the Delta State family, and it has become so apparent to me that there is a very fervent feeling about that. We are a family. Our alumni, our students, of course, and our community. And those people who have really put in their heart and soul efforts to Delta State over the years. People like Vicki Trinelli, people like Ronnie Myers, who's been with Delta State 40 years. We got another 40-year who just retired. Dr. Wayne Blansett, many of you knew, just retired. And in his honor, we're going to name New Men's Dorm Blansett Hall. But the family goes deeper. We created last year, for the first time, a superstar organization. We call it the Legends of Delta State. And the members of that elite order are going to be very few, and they are truly distinguished and made all-star contributions to Delta State during their careers at Delta State. We've got 5 we selected last year. The first one, in no particular order, we just happened to induct them in this order, was H.L. Nowell. Well, the first one was actually Kent Wyatt in his 50th year of affiliation with Delta State. He was president while many of you were there. 24 years as president. He is one of them, one of our legends of Delta State. H.L. Nowell, for whom the union's name, was Director of Student Activities and the union director for years. Many of you knew H.L. He was a mentor for me and many others. A great man. He was our second legend. Coach Margaret Wade, for whom we erected a statue last fall and dedicated right in front of the Coliseum. A great basketball coach, 3 national championships, as you know, back in the 70s. She was the third legend. The fourth legend, also a basketball coach, Lloyd Clark. We renamed the court in the Coliseum, Lloyd Clark Court, and presented him with a legend one night and surprised him at a ball game back in December. Those are the first 4 legends of Delta State. We'll find a permanent location on campus to pay tribute to these individuals over the years. It'll be a shrine where we can say those are the best. They're above anything else. It doesn't compete with any other award. It's not an alumni award. It's not a faculty award, not a student award. It is for those who made the greatest contributions. It is the most distinctive. Look at that microphone. Nibbling on sponge cake, watching the sun bake. All of them tourists are coming. I'm going to bring my guitar next year and get Mike Naiman up here with me. Where was I? Oh, legends. And now, guess who the 5th legend is going to be? This fall, at the baseball reunion in October, the first week in October, you bet. We're going to dedicate a new baseball stadium. We're going to dedicate a statue of Booth Ferris being built right now, and he will be named the 5th legend of Delta State. Over the last couple of years, we have put into place 2 programs on our campus that are already signature programs. They're conferences. To some, they may be a little boring, a little tedious, but they have distinguished the campus already. In the spring, we have a race relations conference, which has set us apart from other institutions and allowed us to be a good voice for understanding and bringing people together in the Delta. Very important for Delta State. First year we were an award winner. We had a great program this past spring. We'll have another one this coming spring. In the fall, we have the Academic Blues Conference. And in the first year we had that, this past fall, it blew the top off. We had papers read and visitors from 12 countries, 36 different universities, more than 400 people were there. We are becoming the blues academic center of the world because of where we are. Something we wanted to be, and we're working toward that. So we're very proud of those 2 particular programs. That kind of ties into something we've worked on lately. My cabinet and I meet every summer for a couple of days off campus in what you might call a retreat. We call it an advance because we're going forward. This summer we focused, among other things, on visioning. First couple of years we've been inundated with the huge twin challenges of enrollment and budget. And we're wrestling those 2 tigers. They're not gone away, but we've got them stabilized. Now we can start thinking the big thoughts, the big ideas. Where is your university going over the next 5 years, 10 years? This September, we celebrate our 90th anniversary as a university. Come to campus on the 15th of September. We're going to have a big birthday party with a big cake on the quadrangle and over at Jove Hall. And the Dedicated Statesman Association, headed by Dr. James Robinson, and Gary Bowles and others from the Alumni Association and the Foundation are helping us to put that on campus. It's going to be a great event. But we're starting to look around the corner. What do we want Delta State to be and look like 10 years from now at our centennial? That's a big deal. 100 years we've been around. Where are we going to be then? We're starting to look at that. And if you think about vision, it's not just a goal. It's not what we're going to do this year. It's that longer thought process. For example, think about this for a minute. Think about the strength, the activities, and the promise of the combination of our art department, for example, our music department, our Delta Music Institute, our Bologna Performing Arts Center programs, the Blues Center that we now have on campus. We have a new minor this fall starting in blues studies. The blues conference we have, the Delta Center for Culture and Learning, and our newest partner you just heard about, the Grammy Museum. Think about the concentric activities around all those. It is making Delta State a center of music and culture That's a vision. We're going to increase in those areas. Those are areas of growth. They will increase our distinction as a university going ahead. We will put resources behind those efforts. That's a sort of big thing. And we got others we're going to roll out this Friday, actually, and over the fall. This Friday's convocation coming up. School starts Monday, as you heard, and we always meet with the faculty and staff to talk about some ideas for the year. They'll be hearing a little longer version of what I'm telling you today. The Grammy Museum is certainly going to be a wonderful partner for us, and you heard in the film clip that we are an educational partner, and we really are. It's going to be right next door to the Alumni House on campus. One of the old golf holes has been renovated, right on Sunflower Road. They're actually, the MDOT is in there now, building the turn lane. So things are really coming up. The building's about 80-85% done, as Jeffrey mentioned. It's going to be a wonderful facility. It's going to be a teaching tool for us, and it's going to be a great attraction. And guess what? People who come there are going to say, what's all that next door? We're going to have visitors coming we never expected. So we're trying to get ready. Nancy and Billy Nowell's wife, Becky, just toured the campus last week and figured out all the things that don't look too good, that need painting, fixing up and stuff. There's this huge list. So we're working on those things to get ready. Certainly for our students when they come back in the fall, but for the Grammy, because we're going to be showcasing Delta State to the world. I don't think people quite grasp yet how big a deal this really is going to be. And so we're really looking forward to that partnership. The educational part will give us the opportunities, you heard, to send interns from Delta State, kids who grew up in the Delta, to Los Angeles. Maybe pick up an hour or two of credit at USC, go figure. Work at the Grammy Museum in LA, at LA Live, and those kids come in here. I can't wait to watch that Southern California blonde guys try to surf on the Mississippi River. That's going to be really cool. That's going to be something that we have fun doing. Here's a new one for you. Delta State is in the radio business. We just opened a radio station. It will be rolled out officially in the next few weeks. It is WDSW 88.1 on your FM dial. Now, it only broadcasts a few miles around the campus. We're a low power station. We got a license about a year and a half ago, and they said if you don't open it, start it, by the end of July this summer, you'll lose the license. So you can imagine, we use Delta State Scrounge. You all know what that is. You cobble anything you get together. We had alumni, parents of students bringing us equipment, patching things together, bringing in technicians. We finally got it all together, and it's up and running. It's upstairs on the third floor of the Union. We got pictures of the guy climbing the tower to put the radio tower on. Right now, there's no format decided upon. It'll be used for a lot of things on campus, including the DMI. But it'll give our students an opportunity to be involved with broadcast. And it'll also be a service to the community. Nancy and I figured out that we heard it all the way to Rosedale when we went to eat at Leo's last week, 2 weeks ago. And we heard it almost a mile bio coming up a little while ago. So it's really more than because of the Delta being flat. So when you come down, 88.1, punch it on your dial, keep it in. It's our new FM station. Ronnie's here, and I don't know, is Ronnie going to be speaking? No, so I get to do all the athletics tonight. All right. I could go for hours, but I'm going to go short, and I'm not Coach Cooley. You know, one of the worst positions I've been put in since I've been here is speaking after Coach Cooley or before Coach Cooley. Doesn't matter, because nobody wants to hear me. They want to hear him. At the end of his talks, people want to go in the ball game. They want to put on pads and a helmet. He's that kind of guy. And I'm going to lead off by telling you the other night when we had the big bash, the final road trip program of about 5 in the Delta, he surprised me at the big dinner at the country club and presented me with a Gulf South Conference championship ring. This is big time. I did absolutely nothing to earn it. And so I'm going to pass it around and trust Delta State folks, and you take a look at this ring. Y'all just pass it around and take a look at it. It's an amazing ring. This is what the players got last year because they won the Gulf South Conference. Doesn't get any better than that for those players. Wait, it does. There are other championships, like national championships. That's what Coach Cooley's going after. No pressure on him. We hadn't told him that. But he's got a team that can do it, that can go. He and his coaches are great, and we're very proud of him. But let me tell you something else, other than what they're doing on the field and getting ready for a season. In fact, I have the privilege of speaking to the team tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to go in and flash my bling and let them see what I have. Here's something else that's real special about that team. They had a 2.9 plus change grade point average for the whole team last spring. Think about that. Academic first. More than half the team had a 3.0 or higher, and 8 of them had a 4.0. Football players, guys. Football players. There you go. We're real proud of them. So they've done some great things. You know, Ronnie and I had a chance to be down in Florida at the Gulf South Conference annual meeting back in June. And 10 students throughout the entire Gulf South Conference and across all sports were selected as the top 10 in the entire Southeast for the Gulf South Conference. And 2 of those 10 are from Delta State. Tyler Sullivan, who's our quarterback, who's coming back for his junior year, and Taylor Holland, who was our star first baseman on our softball team. You know, that's the quality of student we have. Great grades, great athletes, ladies and gentlemen. And we're building that value, building that virtue in the young men and women who have graduated from Delta State. And that's a very proud thing for all of us. Ronnie has a long heritage with our swim program. He is Mr. Swim. He started all this many, many years ago. We still have the greatest facility in D2 anywhere, and most of the time for D1. Let me tell you what those kids did this past year. 18 of them went to the Nationals, swim diving. 18 of them. 13 of those students were academic All-American. Academic All-American. Great students. Coach Kinnison had a tough year this past year, mostly because of weather. We had 18 or 19 games canceled because of bad weather. That's a fluke. That doesn't happen. You can imagine he was not in a good mood. Especially those of you who played, you know he really wasn't in a good mood. So our athletic program continues to soar. One unique little thing that happened this year, if you follow basketball, during the Final Four week up in Indianapolis, they had a slam dunk contest. And the fellow who won the slam dunk contest, LaQuavius Cotton, from Eastside High School in Cleveland, Mississippi, and played his senior year at Delta State. He won the whole thing, and if you've ever seen the picture of him, if you haven't, go look at Google it, look it up. He is scissoring over a guy with a 4-foot vertical leap. How about that, AC? 4-foot vertical leap. He won the whole thing nationwide, all across all divisions, 1, 2, and 3. And that picture, Coach Boone tells me, is probably that guy's ticket to the European Pro Leagues. But he got drafted by the Harlem Globetrotters. How about that? So Delta State's gotten some unique publicity because of that along the way. Athletics is a great thing. We've got great things going on campus. New football field cover this past year. It's a wonderful artificial surface. We're redoing the baseball stadium. A lot of exciting things going on. Both basketball coaches had a great year in recruiting. So we're going into this new year loaded to bear across all sports. It's my privilege to serve this year and last year as vice president of the conference, and I go in as president of the conference next year. So wouldn't it be great if we could win some conference championships? Everybody will get rings. I'll bring you all one of these next year. You can all have one. We'll do that. We really appreciate and value very much you as alumni, and you as parents, and you as friends and supporters. And we appreciate you coming out. It wouldn't be a good night if I didn't say something to you about our financial support for Delta State. The state of Mississippi supports public education to the tune of 34% of our revenue. 34%. 15 years ago, it was in the high 60s. We have to increase tuition a little, but we also depend on private contributions. Think about us, be generous if you can through our foundation. Keith's here, he'll take your check from the spot. We had a couple of checks actually handed earlier. This isn't a fundraising event, but do think about us, because let me tell you how well those funds are being used. We are using them to support students who can't stay in school. Scholarships, we call them retention scholarships. That has turned many people around. Our scholastic programs are great, and we're getting ready to put more fuel behind that this coming year. We're very excited about that. Let me tell you why. We pioneered last fall a new first-year seminar. Some of you remember freshman orientation. That meant snooze time. You could goof off, not show up. Yeah, no, not anymore. Not anymore. There's an academic aspect of it. There's a writing requirement. Go figure. It's all great stuff. We put it in the hands of a history professor on campus. We're going places with it. The kids who are in that program showed a 7% increase in retention from first to second semester. We're going places. We're going places with retention. We're putting a lot of money behind our student success on campus. That program I mentioned earlier, First in the World, all of that money is going to support a special program that deals with kids who come who have ACT scores 17 to 21. You might say, why do you focus on them? Because they're in the marginal group. They're the ones at risk. And those students Many of them are Pell Grant eligible. Many of them are from the Delta. Many of them are first-generation college students. Can get that little bump, and we're going to see an increase in our production, meaning graduates. Our goal at Delta State is student success, first and foremost, and it's to put every student on a path to graduation. And we're doing a much better job of that. At the end of the day, everything else I've said is important, but that's why we're there. We can't lose sight of our primary mission. It's not the most exciting thing, but that's exactly why we're there. It's exactly why you parents want your children to come to Delta State. And we appreciate you sending there, because I want to tell you, that personal touch, that value that we remember of Delta State's special nature, what our students become accustomed to and expect are the things that you remember most fondly about your days at Delta State. And that spirit is back, and we're going to continue to let that grow. So I want to say to you all as alumni, thank you for supporting our programs at Delta State. Thank you for coming out this evening. If you have any questions of me, I'll be around for a few minutes. And otherwise, we hope to see you in the fall at pig picking, the homecoming, the dedication of the Grammy Museum. Just come down and spend the week anytime you want, and we'll show you a good time. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you, President LaForge. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. Just a few loose ends. If you did bid on a silent auction item, which all proceeds goes to the Delta State DeSoto County Alumni Chapter for students who attend Delta State from this area, we're going to extend the deadline to 8:30. But when you bid on a sheet, do not, if you win an item, when you go to check to see if you win, the carbon copy will be there on the table along with the item. Do not pick the carbon copy up or the item. Please go straight to the checkout center, where then our volunteers will help you and let you know whether or not how to settle up. Also, if you'd like to pay by credit card tonight, that is definitely, you're capable of doing that, but we will take that back to our office and run your credit card on Monday, just so you know. Again, thank you for being here tonight. The okra has returned. We want you to get a photo with the okra before you leave tonight. Thank you to our volunteers. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you, Milton and your family. Thank you, Worstein, for all you do to help us with this chapter each and every year. I look forward to seeing you on campus this fall, and if I can help you in your alumni experience enjoy it more or get more information about Delta State, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thanks for being here, everyone.